Okay, so I will get started today with Sam. Sam is actually Sam McClamers is one of our students who just started Ayurveda course last year, and she has just completed her workshops. She also has completed her intensive clinic. Now, as you know, the workshop we runs at the beginning of the second year or at the end of the third term, and then after that we normally run the intensive clinic where general public comes and get the treatment treated by the graduating students, and then they are supervised by the supervisor, in this case Roopa, or any other supervisors who will be supervising at that time. So with that, I will now get Sam to talk about her journey. Sam, would you mind starting, please? Thank you. Go ahead.
Ayurvedic journey started from a book in a library. I've been involved with holistic medicines probably since the age of about 13, 14. And when in 2010, my son decided he didn't want to live anymore and tried to take his life 4 times. So I went and educated myself to find out a whole wellness journey and stuff like that, because he was really sort of left to his own devices through the government system and the private system. And then I started writing workshops and programs and stuff like that, and ended up delivering a wellness workshop to anybody that's experienced a trauma or having mental health issues at that particular time. It then evolved into being really specifically involved with military services personnel, paramedics, police, firemen, and a moral injury program that I wrote. So while I was running all these programs, I was getting in touch with people who were dietitians and nutritionists, but I wanted them aligned with what I wanted. Then I found Ayurveda, and it was like, oh my gosh, this is like light bulb moment. This makes sense. This is all common sense. And instead of me having to find the right people, I can now deliver from woe to go, incorporating everything that Ayurveda brings, because it is a whole philosophical component. And okay, yeah, you've got a sore stomach, but there could be an emotion attached to it, which is what we work on in the wellness workshops. So this is all tied it really well together. So my experience with AIHFE, Dr. Sam is amazing. He makes the tutorials so engaging, so funny. There's just things that I will never forget in the way that Dr. Sam actually delivers them. It's awesome. They are there for every bit of support you ever want. You can email, you'll get an email straight away, a phone call, no questions ever silly. They offer so much fantastic support. Yes, I've just come off the clinic, and that was just like deer in a headlights moment, because you're learning everything and it's really fast, but I'm a throw me in the deep end kind of person, and I will swim. So I found that really enjoyable, and I just went and bought my massage table, and I've still got a year to go, and I just can't wait to get people on there and do everything that I've been learning and put it all into practice. So yes, I'm very happy with my Ayurveda journey. There you go.
That's great. Okay, anyone having any question from Sam? Please feel free to ask.
Can I ask a question?
No question.
I'm Samantha.
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
One of the questions I wanted to ask coming today was about the link between Ayurveda and mental health. So I found it really interesting what you were saying about your son. So do you feel as though Ayurveda has helped him?
Well, we were on a more of a motivational, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. It's not a disaster, it's a cha-cha. Reframing everything to actually go forward. But with the wellness workshop that I did, it was all, learning to live with certain situations. You can't change them. It's actually having the perception change to learn to live with that going forward in your life in a positive light, not letting it actually dictate or define who you are. But then Ayurveda brings on the other philosophical components. So, things to do with your lungs. People have got chronic lung things, and it's all to do with grief. And when you actually peel back the onion layer enough and talk to them, they've lost somebody, or they've had a really grief issue when they were really little and stuff like that. And it all just kind of ties it all together. And it is all about, everything doesn't need to be done in one huge step. It's by step, only eat the elephant one bite at a time. So it really does. And having those moments to stop and take 5 minutes to either meditate or even breathing exercises. It's just that constant reminder of taking that little moment out, which then does help with your mind. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Sam. I appreciate that.
No worries.
Yeah, Rupa has just joined. I will probably introduce her now. Then I will get Sam. There's another Sam also talking about Ayurveda and her journey, which is quite inspiring. So let me introduce you to Rupa. Rupa is actually Ayurvedic doctor from India, qualified in India with Bachelor of Ayurvedic Medicine and Surgery. She has been with us, I think, let me get this right. I think about 18 years she has been working with us from the time she migrated to Australia. She was working in India and Singapore before she started a career in Australia as Ayurveda practitioner as well as a course coordinator, and she is actually running the Ayurvedic campus in the college for the Australian Institute of Higher and Further Education. I can say she's very passionate about what she's doing. Once she start talking, she can't stop. So I have to watch the clock to make sure that she stops for time so that you can get on with your other things that you need to do. So I have asked her to talk about Ayurveda in general and also specifically talk about constitutions, how to recognize your own constitutions and what we can do about it. So please welcome Roopa Rao.
Thank you, Dr.
Rupa, go ahead.
Sam. Yeah,
Thank you.
can you hear me?
Yes, yes, all good.
Okay, thank you. Thanks. Hello, everyone. I'm so sorry I joined in a little late. I had a bit of a technical issue with my many speakers, headsets not working for some reason all of a sudden. So I had to organize that and finally got a headset that was going to cooperate with me today. I'm not tech savvy, so I had to get my husband's help. So thanks, Dr. Sam, for the introduction. And I can see a couple of faces that I already know over here. Sam, Supriya, Diksha, hi, a student who's there in my class at the moment. Lovely to see you too. Thanks for the introduction. And as Dr. Sam said, yes, I've done my training in India, a little bit different training from you all. We kind of go through 6 years of training. And I practiced in India, got married, moved to Singapore, practiced in Singapore. Then we moved to Australia, and I've been teaching at AIHFE now, which was AIHM before, teaching ever since I've come to Australia. I also manage, when we used to have the regular Ayurveda clinics, I used to manage the clinics, and I also come to Perth to manage the intensive clinics. Right now, since the last 3-4 years, I've been in Canberra. Just another change as life takes you on different journeys. But my Ayurveda journey never stopped all through these years. Welcome to everyone who has shown the interest for Ayurveda. And hopefully, if there's any questions that you want to ask me either about the course or more about Ayurveda, feel free to ask me. I'll try and answer to the best of my ability. I've been practicing Ayurveda, so from 2000 is when I graduated. So that's like 21 years now. But still a student of Ayurveda, because the journey never ends, the learning never ends. And every day, every moment, you just learn so much more about life, which is what Ayurveda is all about. It is the science of life. Now, Dr. Sam, yes, did say that I have to keep up with the time. I'm notorious. I don't keep up with times, but I'll try and stick to it. So he actually has sent me an email telling me what I should be talking about. So I'll try and do that. If you're already interested and you've come to this session, you already have a bit of an understanding about what Ayurveda is, and you know a little bit about it. So as I said, it's a science of life. It is a science of your life's journey. It is something that we live and breathe every day. And sometimes we recognize that we are doing things Ayurvedically. Sometimes we just don't recognize it, but that's still okay. We still kind of live, adapt some part of Ayurveda into our lives every day. So it is a 5,000-year-old medicine, originated in India, has, of course, it's become a global medicine. It used to be a global medicine. Things happen. Now, again, it is gaining its popularity everywhere as a global medicine again. The basis for Ayurveda, as you all know, is like, living in harmony with nature. And that's the reason why Ayurveda has, lived all through these centuries and thousands of years, is basically because it teaches us how to live in harmony with nature. And I should emphasize on this now more than ever, because we are living in certain, situations and times where it has become like paramount importance for us to recognize ourselves, recognize our strengths, recognize our health, and also recognize nature, what nature is teaching us, what nature is talking to us about, and try and live in harmony with nature. So it is coming back. The understanding is coming back, and that is what Ayurveda brings to our life, our daily routines, our, with the changing seasons, how to change with that, the seasonal routines, how to, balance ourselves with, whether it is from our food or our daily activities, or what type of things that we involve in our lives, even in the thought processes, what kind of thoughts we invite into into our lives, what we learn, what we understand, because experiences are there all the time, and it is what we accept from these experiences and how we allow them to affect us is what makes the biggest difference. So that is what Ayurveda talks about, helps you living in harmony with nature. So when I say that you need to live in harmony with nature, then the next question comes, how do you do that? And that is where our understanding of constitution comes into play. So you might have all kind of read or understood a little bit about constitution. We call it in our Ayurveda, comes from this, it has been written originally in this language called Sanskrit. So in Sanskrit, it is called as Prakriti, but the easiest translation that I can do in English is constitution. So Ayurveda talks about, how to live in harmony with nature, how to understand ourselves, and also how to understand what's there around us, and how do we, kind of have the right interactions. We kind of know about it through understanding our own constitutions. So in Ayurveda, we talk about the three doshas. Of course, when you join the course, you will have like a big, massive understanding, and we go deep into the doshas and everything. With the amount of time that Dr. Sam has given me, I will not be able to explain everything, because then I'll have to take a big, massive Ayurveda class, which you will all see when you hear the recordings, when you join the course and you hear the lecture recordings, or when we do the tutorials. We always go, I mean, Diksha might tell you, we always go over time limit in the tutorials, just basically because there's so much to talk about in Ayurveda and everything about Ayurveda. So just very briefly, if I want to say, we recognize our constitutions. We have what we call as Vata, Pitta, Kapha, which are unique qualities that we notice within us. We recognize what our unique qualities are. We recognize the constitution. And then based on our constitution, we kind of look out in nature, what are the similar, characteristics that are there in nature, or what are the opposite characteristics that are there in nature. And we decide, okay, now what am I having? Am I wanting something that is, similar to me, or do I want something that is opposite to me, so that it can balance me? Okay. And so we look at that, we look at our constitution, we look at even like, whether it is herbs, food, day-to-day vegetables, fruits, everything displays certain unique qualities, certain constitutions within themselves. So basically all that we do is we recognize our constitution, we recognize the constitution of the food, or the constitution, even seasons and everything. They come up with dominant, doshic qualities. Even every season, you can think about it like summer. We see that there is a lot of heat. There is, the sun is, most gloriously, glowing in all his glory in summer. So we see that, that heat generates that pitta quality in nature, generates that pitta quality within us, generates even, if you look at everything, even in foods, you can see some of the foods will have this type of extra heat in it, like chilies. Yeah. So there are things like that that we recognize. We recognize that, okay, summer is more of a pitta quality time. So then we know that, okay, depending on my constitution, do I want to, embrace the sun and be out in the sun? Will that help me? Or my constitution is that I cannot tolerate the sun, and so do I take more shade and shelter. So depending on your constitution, like, I love talking about summer just basically because I have both, a bit more of my vata, which is very cold and everything. And so I hate cold. I live in Canberra. I regret it every day, but I love it also because I have no other choice but to live here at this point of time. Yeah. Because, more than the season, I do love my husband a little bit more. So I'm adjusting living in Canberra, but I hate the cold here. I'm a Vata person. God help me. So all that I want is a bit of heat. So every time I just think of summer all the time, and I think of Perth all the time, and I'm like, oh, the heat of the Perth. Oh my God, my bones are getting warmer. Yeah. So that's what a Vata does, So then, a person like me would love summer, would love, I want it. I want to be out and about outdoors when it is warm. Whereas, I can see Sam on the video. She's going, no, 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 because I know that Sam has a lot of pitta in her and she would hate it. And I remember, like, when I was there in January in Perth, conducting the intensive clinic, I would be like, okay, guys, let's have our tutorial outside in the sun. And Sam's like, no, no way. And we always had that, but that is how, that is what is, that is what we talk about, our constitutions and living in, harmony with nature. So it is just about adjusting that. So we did come to a compromise. I would sit out in the sun and she would sit under the shade. And we kind of had a bit of a, I bribed her with, you can have your juice and everything and sit out for a little while I enjoy my sun. So we, and that way we create harmony. We do know how to live in harmony and everything. And that is what Ayurveda actually teaches you. Nothing new, nothing, that you don't know. It is almost like, it is reawakening something that you already know. Innately, your body knows, your mind knows what you want, what are your likes, what are your dislikes. And what Ayurveda does is it just solidifies that knowledge. It just makes you understand that, yeah, okay, it just literally reawakens that memory that you have of what you actually are and what you want from nature, from life and everything. So it just helps you kind of, tidy up the loose ends and live your life in the best possible, way, in the best possible balanced way. So that is what, your constitution, your, and health and living in harmony with nature and everything that Ayurveda talks, this is exactly what it talks about. Yeah. It just basically talks whether it is food or anything. Yeah. That is what it basically does. And you can see that, nature has this way of teaching us our lessons. Like, for example, again, summer is when watermelons grow. Yeah. Of course, now a global world where everything is together, we kind of have every fruit, every vegetable available in the supermarkets at every time of the year. That is keeping that apart. But if you actually look into nature and see what actually grows at certain times of the year, you actually can see that what nature is doing is it is actually trying to give you foods, give you resources that is going to keep everyone in balance, keep nature is living in harmony. That's why watermelons, which are so cooling, so settling, grounding and everything for this hot summer, it gives you this beautiful watermelon that just cools and brings about that perfect balance. Yeah. So that is what nature is teaching us, that, okay, this is how you create balance. When there is something, you need opposites. Sometimes you need like things, sometimes you need opposite things. So the nature tells you, okay, this is exactly what I have to offer. So that is the kind of knowledge that Ayurveda just explains to you and tells you that, okay, look, this is how it is. It's all common sense. Yeah, Ayurveda is basically a common sense life. It's a lifestyle. It's not even like a medical science as such. So it just helps you understand it, helps you get in touch with yourself, helps you get in touch with life around you, and helps you live in life the best possible way you can, whether it's you, whether it's your family, patients. That's the basic principles that we use. Of course, we'll go into deeper into this, and you learn every aspect of this. You learn about the elements and the doshas and the dhatus, the tissues, and every possible makeup of life. we deal with it, whether it is emotional, spiritual. When I joined in, I was hearing Sam talking about lungs and grief and, what it deals with, and, not just lungs and dreams. Oh, okay. Yeah. Somebody is leaving us at the moment. Yeah. Somebody has to go to work. See you. And so, yeah. So, I heard a little bit, I caught the last little bits of, Sam's talk of, lungs and grief and everything. But also the positive of lungs is that it is the one that gives you the life force. It is the one that gives you the prana, the pranic energy, the pure, fresh of breath air, to take in and convert it into this amazing pranic life force in you. So that is also the beauty of Ayurveda, that it teaches every aspect of it, makes you understand every aspect, whether it is physical, physiological, emotional, spiritual, philosophical, you name it. We have we understand it. It has been studied in all aspects, and that's why it's a wholesome science to kind of explore. If for nothing else, it's just something to just explore it, to understand our own selves also. So that is what Ayurveda actually gives for, that is what you're actually looking out for, even in your course, and understanding and learning. So and I think Dr. Sam, do I have like more time, or you're kind of
okay? Can I
rolling
interject
your
here,
eyes?
Rupa? Well, I think can you guys hear me? Can you all hear me? Yeah, okay. I think maybe we could ask them whether there are any questions. Maybe open the forum for some questions. Perhaps that might be good. Anyone having any questions from Rupa about Ayurveda in general, or the course, or anything? If you want to ask, I'm sure she'll be more than happy to answer. No. I heard yesterday somebody wanted to ask few questions about Ayurveda. I just had chat to one or two people yesterday, and I said the best time to ask these questions is today from Rupa. Swati, did you have any questions to ask?
Hi, sorry, I was just trying to unmute myself. Yeah, I,
Okay.
I do have a lot of questions. They're actually heaps, so I don't know, and they're not very related to what Dr. Rupa just covered. So that's the reason I didn't raise my hand up. But
Okay, I will give you maximum 3 minutes to ask all your questions, please.
look, I think what I would really like to understand to start off with is, we spoke about the two different diplomas yesterday, Dr. Sarath, and
Yeah,
my understanding was you need to be, you also cleared that, we can directly enroll into the advanced diploma.
correct.
And I understand it's 2 years duration. So my question was also connecting to what one of your students, Sam, spoke earlier. After you, let's say you're 1 year into your studies, can you, and you enroll into the advanced diploma, right? But can you still start your Ayurvedic practice for the scope of lifestyle consultation, and then, whilst continuing on your studies for year 2? Is that possible?
That is absolutely possible. I think I did explain to you yesterday, possibly, yeah, that confirm that everyone is here. Yeah, it is absolutely possible. Once you have completed all the requirement for diploma, and if you do follow the structure of the course, you should be able to complete that within a year, and then you should be able to apply. Automatically you wouldn't get it. You need to apply for the diploma qualification. Once you get the diploma qualification, you can practice as a lifestyle consultants. Yes, that's correct.
Perfect. And I think the other question, particularly, I would like to understand from your present students. I believe there's a couple that Dr. Rupa mentioned, just to who are especially based in Melbourne. I believe there was Diksha, and I'm not sure. Yeah, she took out a few names. Can they talk a little bit more about their clinical hours? Those 400 hours that they accomplished in Melbourne, and what the experience was.
Okay, maybe
I
I should answer that. Is that
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
okay,
sure.
Dr.
Rupa.
Sam?
Yeah, go ahead,
Okay,
Rupa.
Diksha is still my little baby. She's just started. She's still in my very first unit, so she
Okay.
hasn't done any clinical practicals yet. So
Right.
maybe I should just give you a bit more information about how we go about that. So
Sure.
once you have completed your intensive, there is a practical intensive that we do conduct. So once you have finished that, that's when you can go into attending clinic,
Yeah.
and get your clinic hours done. So we do have, I'm sure Dr. Sam will give you the list and everything. We do have a list of practicing physicians in Melbourne where you can go and do your clinic hours. We also have in Perth, we will be running intensive clinics and everything. Hopefully, if everything keeps, borders are open and different things like that. Of course, it's still very volatile. We can't predict everything at this point of time, but yeah, so you have the choice to come and do it in Perth. You have the choice of going into so in Melbourne we do have, and also Swati, if you are in Melbourne, we have a few of our students who are already qualified and have their own clinics and everything. So happy to give you a bit more information about them if you want to actually get in touch with them, have a bit of a chat with them, and get some more personal experience and everything answered over there. So we do have that. We do have a Dr. Sam will be will be able to give you the list of all the doctors that we do have who take on students for clinic, for training them for their clinic hours. So I'm looking at everyone around, and Supriya is in Sydney, and Sam, our other Sam who's here, she is in Perth too. So there are no Melbourne people over here for me to, so that's why I took over and answered that question.
That's fine. All good. Yeah. Thanks for that. Thank you so much.
If you want, Swati, what I could do is I will get told of, currently there are 2 or 3 students study in the clinic in Melbourne. Currently, I mean, this clinic list is actually something not stagnant. It keep on changing because we got new practitioners coming in and we add them, etc., etc. So if you want, I will have to ask their permission first to see whether they are okay to share that number, or your permission to share your number with them. If you allow me to do that, then I can you can sort of connect with them and get an experience or first-hand information from them as to what they experience, about how they experience the clinic operation.
Yeah, that'd be perfect. Thank you so much.
Sure, sure. All right. Okay. I'm sure you have more questions. Can I get Rupa to answer those questions after the next presentation, if that's okay?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's fine. All right. So now we'll get Sam Moran to speak. Sam, I think still there. Sam, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. How are you?
Okay. All right. Hi, Sam. Let me very briefly introduce Sam. Sam is actually graduated last year, but then before she graduated, she got a job while she was doing her traineeship or work placements, and she grabbed her, basically, or she employed her. She offered the job, and she got the job even before she graduated. Just like you are getting ready to marry and then you got a child already, something like that. Okay. So so she's working since then, and
It was awkward. It was beautiful.
yeah. She's working, and she actually having a legal background. I think she was a lawyer for a while, and then I'm not sure whether she practiced or not, but I know she got a legal qualification, and then also she has got a yoga qualification and yoga practice. I think she has been working as a yoga teacher and yoga practitioner before too, and that incorporated, and she embraces Ayurveda very strongly, as I understand, and so she has been in India. So without any further ado, please welcome Sam Moran.
Hi, everybody. I just scrolled through and saw all your faces, so hello. So Dr. Sam and Roopa have asked me just to share my experience with the college. So I guess originally Ayurveda I found through yoga and meditation. I used to be a yoga teacher, and on my yoga teacher training, I was introduced to Ayurveda and been to India a number of times. And I just felt really drawn to it. It just felt like, yeah, I have to do this. This is something I have to pursue and go deeper into. And I was waiting for the right time, and I had my first son. And he was 4 months old when I enrolled in the course, and I was hesitant at first because obviously newborn baby and worried about the course demands. And Roopa and Dr. Sam were awesome. They've always been so helpful with me and they give you time if you need the time, but they give you a kick up the butt if you need that as well. So they're really flexible with making it work for you. And the online structure being videos and recorded, so you can go back and look at things in the evening or whenever the time it suits you. So that was just a godsend. I don't think I could have done the course without that flexibility. In terms of the course, it was just amazing. That just listening to Roopa now talking just makes my heart so full of love and happiness. And I really miss all my lectures with you, Roopa. And that enthusiasm and passion you see in her, it doesn't stop. It's literally every lecture is just so fascinating and so fulfilling and amazing. So yeah, she's an amazing lecturer and teacher, as is Dr. Sam. They're both so passionate about what they do. And it rubs off on us as students. And the clinical stuff is awesome. It's so exciting to learn just all the Ayurvedic treatments. They're nothing like you've ever seen before. You probably all had massages and body work, potentially chiropractors, whatever, but the treatments are really, really special. They use a lot of oils, a lot of herbs. It's just, you'll get into that if you join the course. It's really quite amazing. So the clinical hours, I did 3 student clinics, which were great. You get really thrown in the deep end, but you pick things up so quickly that way. You get exposed to a lot of interesting clients with a huge range of health concerns. So you're not limited to just one type of client. You just get exposed to everything. Lots of autoimmune diseases, lots of Vata, Pitta and Kapha diseases, Panchakarma, lots of stress, people who are suffering from stress and digestive complaints. Anyway, you get everything. And then the last 2 units I did at a private placement at Lakshmi Ayurveda in Fremantle. And that was also amazing, very different. It was a much slower pace, so not as many clients, but maybe more time to sort of process things. So the two sort of learning placements were incredible and gave a really amazing all-rounded sort of practical learning. And I was really confident after those clinics, the 400 hours, to start practicing straight away. That's something that you feel throughout. You just feel, oh, am I ever going to be confident? Am I ever going to know, enough? But you do. Once you get to the end, you start to, you gain your confidence and you're ready to start treating clients. And I was lucky enough to be offered a role at Lakshmi Ayurveda. So I'm working there 2 days a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I'm developing my own clinic as well, 1 or 2 days a week. So I have been running my own clinic at home on and off, but I took some time off. I had another baby, little Leo, he's 1.5. And but I'm now ready to start doing my own clinic again, and while working at Lakshmi Ayurveda. And there's lots of work. I mean, Karen's looking for Ayurvedic therapists at the moment. So if anyone wants a job to train in the therapies, she's looking for work. Yoga studios are interested in Ayurvedic practitioners, teaming up with them and offering therapies as well as yoga. So I was just approached by a studio in Leederville the other day, which is exciting. I think there's lots of work, and it's such a huge area, and I think the world needs more of this, more sort of holistic therapies, looking at everything, not just the physical, but you treat the physical body so that you can evolve as a spirit. It's a very spiritual, holistic science. So yes, we look at all the physical body, but the ideal purpose is for our spiritual growth and for our evolution. So we make better choices. When we're healthy and not stressed, we make better choices in relationships, in our businesses, in our lives, for the environment, for everyone. So it encompasses all of that. And it's just, anyway, I'm very passionate about it. I hope you, look into it deeper. And these guys are amazing. Dr. Sam and Roopa will get you through the course and give you what you need to succeed. So
Thank you,
Yeah.
Sam, for those nice words. Now I can't give you any credits, any marks. You already finished your qualification now for those nice words. Now, I think people might really be interested. I think to find out what qualities that you think you had to be offered a job even before you complete your qualification. I know, Karen offered you a job even before you qualified as a
Yeah.
practitioner. I'm sure you must have expressed some qualities within
Yeah.
you to be able to grab, just like that. So could you just explain what those qualities you think you had to be able to employer to grab you there?
I think obviously passion and dedication. So I'm really dedicated to the clients. My role, I feel my purpose in this incarnation is to serve others and make improve their quality of life. So I feel sorry, my little boy's screaming.
Yeah.
Hold on, darling, one moment.
You need to go.
Maybe soon. Hold on a sec. I'll just
Yeah.
see if Koa can.
Yeah.
Anyway, just very quickly. So dedication to serving others, I think, is probably number one.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't be in this call if you didn't have that sort of calling, I guess.
Yeah.
And what else? Obviously just really keen to learn. I'm a sponge, and I'm really keen to just keep learning and growing. And I think the more you learn, the more you know you don't know.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
not letting that stop you, but keeping that curiosity really alive. I think those two things. So, and obviously being empathetic and compassionate, and sort of accepting everyone where they're at on their journey, and embracing where they're at on their journey. Not everyone is spiritual or a yogi or, and just sort of helping them where they're at. I think, those are the qualities I think most important.
Okay. Thanks, Sam. Really appreciate you joining us in this busy time when you have to take care of your children. Much appreciated.
Yeah. Thank God for daycare. Anyway.
Thank you. Take care.
All right. Enjoy,
Bye-bye.
everyone. Bye.
Thank you. All right.
Dr.
Okay.
Sam,
Yes, super.
Dr. Sam, I've just seen that Sasha has put up a question for us. So
You want
is that
to
okay?
answer?
Yeah.
Go
Is
ahead.
that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Thanks, Sasha, for your question, and hello. Such a beautiful Bob. Hello, little one. Oh, you look so cute. So Sasha, an example of a typical treatment in clinic. So when you are doing this course, you will learn almost every treatment that is available, like that is there in Ayurveda. Of course, there are limitations of what all we can perform as Ayurvedic practitioners because of the Australian laws and everything that binds us. So basically, even though there are limitations, but you will have learned a lot of almost all therapies that we teach in Ayurveda. So a typical treatment, for example, like let's say, one of our most famous and most looked out for treatment is the Shirodharas. I don't know if you guys have heard about what is called a Shirodhara. It's the most relaxing, most amazing and beautiful treatment where we pour medicated oils, it could be, or medicated herbal decoctions, milk decoctions and everything. So we pour it over the forehead for a limit, for a period of time continuously. Just takes you to this totally different level of bliss. Literally, I've never had, yes, and also it's very, very uplifting and everything. It does bring out, a little bit of emotions and everything that are pent up, kept inside. But that is the purpose of the treatment also. So in your own clinics, you will be able to do all these treatments in our, whether it is our intensive clinic or any Ayurveda clinic that you go to, they will be offering these treatments. So that is done for for a variety of reasons, whether it is high blood pressure, whether it is, depression, anxiety, for a lot of things. It just depends on what oil we are using, what kind of decoctions that we are using, and the length of the treatment and everything. That is what makes a bit of difference. But Shirodharas, we do what is called as Pijichils, Pindasvedas. We also do some of the clinics, not all clinics offer, but in our clinic, we do, in our Perth, in our intensive clinics, we do even do enemas, We do, because that is also part of our Ayurvedic detox programs and things like that. So we do that. So basically what happens when a patient comes into the clinic from an Ayurvedic perspective is that we do the consultation gives us an understanding of the person's constitution. That is what we are looking out for. Understand the constitution and also understand their imbalances, where they are at now, what kind of imbalances are happening. And then we prepare a wholesome treatment plan for them. Okay, we look at every aspect, diet aspect, what all improvements or changes or understanding that we need to give about diet. We talk about lifestyle aspects. So we create a treatment plan. What improvements could there be for, in their day-to-day lifestyle that will cause, bring the balance back into them. And then we talk about what treatments. So we make treatments. That is the other thing about Ayurveda, is that we recognize that everyone's constitution is so unique. So it's not like one plan fits all. So we create unique plans. We create, tailor-made plans, where we look at every aspect of the person and we give them the treatment plan. Now, saying that, we also consider what, as Sam just now said, what point of life they are at, what all can they actually do at this point. It's not like we're just going to tell them that you have to do this and this and this and this and overwhelm them. That's not the purpose, because that defeats the purpose of bringing them into balance. So we look at, what can they actually do, and it's not like you can change them overnight. So we understand that. We explain to them, we give them a bigger wholesome plan. We also say, but then let's focus at these things because these are important. So based upon that, we recommend the treatments, but we do all treatments, whether it is Pinda Swedas. Pinda Swedas are like, bolus treatments that we add. There are herbs and everything that is mixed up, tied up in a cloth bag, and then we do massage with that. And oh my God, it's like, yeah. And the one thing that you'll always hear of every patient who comes out of the treatment room is like, can I just stay in there forever? But you can't stay in there forever. Yeah. So that's what we do. We do tailor, we do, and it all depends on, what herbs it might look like two people are taking the same treatment, same Pinda Sweda treatment, but the herbs that are put in it, the ingredients that are used in it and everything, they will be totally different, that the effect, the outcome is also quite unique that we require for the patients. Yep. Does that answer? Yeah.
Thanks, Roopa. There is another question from here about the Panchakarma.
Yes.
Could you please answer that question in 2 minutes so we can go to the next speaker?
Yeah, sure. So Nasya, yes, we can do Nasya. Yes, we cannot offer the whole Panchakarma for a variety of reasons. One is so some of the treatments, they are not like, Vamana, vomiting procedures. That is one of the Panchakarma treatments. It's not allowed in Australia to be, done. So yes, some of them we cannot, but you do learn about them because, you don't know. In the future, it might change, or you might be in a country where it is allowed to be practiced and you can go and, you might be practicing there because, it did happen to one of my students who is from Melbourne. She's come back to Melbourne, but she was actually invited to practice. They actually brought her out to practice in 2 different countries. One she went to Brazil, and then there's another one, an exotic place. I forget its name, but she went to these 2 countries. She did her practice for 7 months in one country and set up a practice for them, set up a clinic for them. And then she went to this other country and she set up a, retreat spa kind of, resort kind of Ayurveda resort kind of place in another place. Now she's back in Melbourne and she's practicing. But yeah, so, you don't know. So we do teach everything, but of course, in Australia, there are limitations of what you can practice and what you can't practice. So of course, we can't offer all the panchakarma. But can we advise on any component of panchakarma? Yes. For example, yes, nasya karma, we definitely can do nasya karma. Virechana, purgation detox program is called as virechana in Ayurveda. We can definitely take them through that. Yeah. Of course, the ideal thing would be that they are staying in in an Ayurvedic center kind of place, or where you can offer them an inpatient kind of thing, so that you can take care of every aspect of their treatment and protocols and everything for a detox. That might not happen because, like, for example, in my clinic, I only had like outpatient. I didn't have anyone to come and stay, but I still could manage to keep them on detox programs and everything, because, of course, it takes commitment from, it's a two-way commitment. The person agrees to do, all the, food intake and everything according to the plan. They agree to, kind of do all the lifestyle things that they need to do during the plan, and also come to take the treatments as required. And we do take them, even in our intensive clinics, we take people through smaller panchakarmas. We do purgation, we do virechana and things like that. So you can but the important thing is we do teach. As I said, right now there are certain restrictions of what all you can practice.
Thank you, Roopa. That's really great. I think that question answers sort of your questions, I believe. Great. Okay, so now let me introduce you to Supriya, our last speaker for the day. Supriya is actually one of our graduates, and also she has been practicing as a yoga teacher for quite some time, and also she is a qualified trainer and assessor. So please welcome Supriya from Sydney.
Hi everyone, I am grateful to be invited this morning. Dr. Sam asked me to just share my journey with Ayurveda with you. So let me start with what brought me to Ayurveda initially. It was probably 16, 17 years ago, in my previous profession, which was in the corporate world. I was living quite unconsciously. I was pursuing very materialistic life goals, I guess, very externalized. And my health was a big concern back then, because I just wasn't very self-aware. And then I think I hit a bit of a wall with my energy, and I figured that I need to do something about my health. So I got into my yoga practice then as a student, and during that journey, as I became a yoga teacher, it took me through to a journey of exploring my health in a deeper way, which meant I looked at my diet, I looked at my life goals, and sustainability was a key thing in my one of my top goals, which is how do I sustain the new life and all the goals that I have. How do I sustain myself, my energy and my focus and everything. So then I looked into, I was practicing Ayurveda from books and Google searches and things like that, tweaking my diet here and there, but something just wasn't clicking, because there's a lot of talk about balanced diets, a generic way, and much of that balance wasn't achievable by just following one size fits all. Like Roopa said, it's not a one size fits all journey. I had to look into it deeper, as in how do I actually personalize this. So I was looking for courses, and I was looking for teachers, and I found that the Dr. Sam's presentation talked more, spoke more to me than anybody else, because at that time what I picked up was that he had a mission in his college, and the mission is to actually improve people's lives and change the way people are thinking about health care. And so that really resonated with me. Rather than just learning something medicinal for application, it's about self development, personal development. So that really resonated with me. And then once I met my teachers, Roopa and Dr. Sam and other teachers that were part of the curriculum, the support really came in hand with what I had going on. So I was running a yoga school, high pressure job, because I was running a school and also wanting to develop myself. I really didn't think I could manage it, because I live in Sydney and I had to travel to Perth, and a lot of my weaknesses were showing up, going, so Roopa, I don't think I can make it. I don't think I can handle this course volume. What do I do? And it was she that coached me through it. If it wasn't for her words, I don't think I would have finished it. So I'm very grateful for that part of the support I received. So what did Ayurveda change for me was, I actually was chronically, when I discovered later on in my journey that I had anemia for a while. And so that's what was affecting my energy levels, and GPs weren't able to pick this up other than just blood tests. They weren't able to actually give me any methods to fix the root problem. And Ayurveda really looks at what is the root problem, what is the root cause of why you're experiencing this. So through Ayurveda, I was able to reverse that, because it helps you look at your thoughts, your emotions, your physical interaction with what you're doing. So like the rest of my peers explained, that it's not just a physical medicine, but it's a very holistic medicine, looking at your mind, body, emotions, and spiritual aspects. So it's very, very deep, which really goes hand in hand with my yoga practice plus my teachings. So it really helped me develop a deeper understanding of what I was actually disseminating to my students, and always letting them know that this is a personal journey, from not just words, but just really being that example, really having a core connection to this knowledge. So yoga and Ayurveda both come from the Vedic knowledge. So it's not something that was developed just today. And Ayurveda has stood the tests of time, as Roopa said. And there's a deep resonance there for me, which has kept me on the journey. So I actually started sharing Ayurvedic knowledge with my students even before I graduated. And I started to see that women and men really took to the knowledge in a way of, wow, this actually makes a whole lot of sense to look at my daily routine. Instead of looking at my health or condition, let's look at what I actually do in my day, and how do I interact with the season, and what difference can I make every day, rather than looking to push a mountain in one go, which is like the allopathic system, right? So it's really been a journey of being self-empowered, and then empowering others to think differently about health and self-care. So since then, my journey evolved into, graduating. I did open my own physical clinic twice. And then because of COVID, things had to change, because I had to close my 10-year-old business down and basically evolve. And now I see my clients online, and I hire out a local clinic. And so I've networked with other professionals in my area to have that ability to work with their premises when the need comes. So what I do now with my Ayurvedic qualifications is I actually teach Ayurveda at one of the colleges that I work for in Sydney, which is where I teach yoga teacher trainings under an RTO, just like AIHFE, but they have Ayurvedic units there. Plus, I run detox retreats for women and run women's wellness workshops. One of them, Rupa, also came and facilitated with me, which was wonderful, to be able to work with, my teacher being there and giving my audience that connection that I received from her. And Rupa's quite flexible like that. She will support you throughout your journey. The teachers at AIHFE don't just finish with you when you've graduated. It's basically a lifelong family that you build when you get into the Ayurvedic family, because Ayurveda actually prescribes yoga, so it doesn't separate you from any other holistic journeys that you're on, be it healthcare, mental health, personal development. If I'm heavily into personal development and all that, neuroscience, it's all, you'll find resonance with every theory that you learn in Ayurveda. It's basically, it seems like it's always borrowed from it, because the knowledge is so ancient and has been, well, Veda means pure knowledge. So basically it's been debated. It's just distilled knowledge that it just keeps going and going and going. And modern knowledge, modern education is basically, I guess the same framework applies. So what I currently do now is I see my clients online and at local clinics. I teach Ayurveda. I've been offered to do some tutorials at AIHFE as well, which I'm so grateful for. So I get to interact with Dr. Sam and Rupa more regularly as well. And yeah, I'm happily continuing on my personal journey and enjoying better health. Sustainability is still something that I really highly value, because with Ayurveda, what you'll see when you start to learn and integrate that into your own lifestyle is that you learn that you're a changing being, so you will always be able to meet yourself where you're at. So this is key to actually staying connected to what does sustainability mean for you now, and what will it mean for you 10 years down the track, but always staying connected to your own truth, which is what we tend to forget. What I forgot that in my career, in my corporate life, where I was performing for others, not really connected to what my well-being said and all that. Not saying anyone has to leave their jobs, but it's something that I felt very, very very much a calling, and I think I'm doing what I was meant to do all along. So which is, helping other people realize that health is what matters, and you can actually have better relationships, better businesses, better interactions, and also live the happy life that you were born to live. So that's my takeaway, and that's what I wanted to share today. Open to any questions if you had, but yeah, thank you so much for letting me share.
Thank you, Supriya. That is really, really great. Appreciate that. Anyone have any question from Supriya? I think we have taken 1 hour. Normally, I confine to my our seminars to 1 hour. Shouldn't go. It's about 3 minutes more than 1 hour. Anyone having any questions? Please feel free to ask. You may not necessarily get all these people together at the same time, so maybe you got an opportunity. Perhaps you could throw some questions. All right, okay, so you get only one chance, and if you don't take it, it's gone. So that opportunity is gone now. All right, Rupa, do you have to say anything finally to conclude?
Just that lovely dog journey.
Okay.
So loving and so beautiful. Oh, love it. That's
Okay.
all, Dr. Sarath.
All right, okay.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
All right, okay.
Okay, sorry. There is one more question from Sasha. Yeah. How in depth do you go into herbs? We do cover a lot of herbs. So according to the course curriculum, what we come under ASQA according to their guidelines. We have a list of 100 something herbs that we definitely cover. And apart from that, there are some extra herbs that, basically the way I, have kind of brought up that whole herbal unit is that, yeah, all that we definitely need to cover. And then there are some herbs that are really, really important that we use in Ayurveda, that also we cover on top of it. And then there are some herbs that, you kind of, because there are some restrictions in what all herbs you are allowed to bring into the country, into Australia, because there are some herbs that are not grown locally, so you get it from India and things like that. So when you're doing that, there are some herbs that we do learn extra, but there's some 100 something herbs that we learn enough herbs and enough medicinal combinations and everything that will definitely be able to sustain and to start and sustain a practice effectively over here. Of course, as I said, it's always a learning journey. Like, for example, as new things are allowed to come in and everything, I do add it on. And because, as Supriya said, we are a lovely family. Once you get into this, you are in touch with everyone. We are like a big family. So any new information comes, we have our WhatsApp groups and we have our Facebook groups and everything. We put it up, we share that knowledge, we share that understanding. This Ayurveda Rishta has been approved to be brought into Australia, say, and then kind of this is what it is used for. Like, students, all my kids, I call them my kids because they all are for me, babies of Ayurveda. So when some, and I keep in touch, I'm a little slow in replying to messages. When I say I keep in touch, it's not like, immediately I'll reply. I usually like, it'll take a day or two, of course, because I do get messages almost every day from different kids of mine. So but I do need to, but I do get back and give them a bit of a, explanation of what that medicine is for and how you can use it and things like that. So and not just me, you can always ask other, you can ask in our WhatsApp and Facebook forums and everything. I found this information, anyone. So we share everything. So that is important.
Can I just share something else about herbs? You'll find that mainly all the main herbs that you can stock, you'd be seeing pretty similar clients as well during your first year or so. So you'll get a lot of you'll have a lot of supply for those kinds of herbs, and then as you become more proficient and see a wider range of clients, you learn a lot more about asking for variations to treatment plans and things like that, which I've found. Roopa, I reach out to Roopa, I reach out to other colleagues, or even the local doctors, the Ayurveda doctors, for substitutes, so even though some of the herbs aren't allowed in Australia, we can always find alternatives, and that's part of the ongoing journey of learning about how to use herbs and things like that. But sorry, I hope that helps.
There are a few other questions as well, Roopa. If you could quickly answer those questions very shortly, briefly.
I just started to type in because I thought that will save us some time. So Swati, so they are not TGA approved because we don't claim any therapeutic benefits as such for it. More a technical, legal issue than anything else. We don't. Of course, Ayurveda is a holistic science. It's a complementary science. We do not claim, therapeutic benefits out of it. It's a lifestyle science. That's how we, that is how it has been recognized. For further study or placement in India after the advanced diploma, could you please say a bit about that? Okay. Of course, we haven't been able to do that because of the COVID situation. Actually, we had one group needed, almost ready to go, and then this whole COVID happened and we couldn't get them to go. Now that's an optional thing. It's not compulsory. This is not a compulsory thing at all. But we do have tie-ups with India and Sri Lanka, where we do have, like college that I studied in, they have a, full-fledged, it's a 700-bed hospital, full-on purely Ayurvedic hospital. We have a college. So basically you do have an opportunity to go. So in India, we have like 4 or 5 different institutions that we have tie-ups with. So you can pick and choose how long you want to go, because of all the other things, other life things that you'll have. Some people might go only for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, depends on how long you want to go. So we can, we do organize. So there are yoga teacher training that you can go in for. You can go in for, the yoga teacher training that you go in for is a 1 month course, but it's more for people who already have a bit of yoga knowledge, but looking at the yoga practice that you can involve into your Ayurvedic studies, in the sense that, okay, a patient comes with rheumatoid arthritis problem. What are the good yoga postures, postures to do, yogasanas to do, that will help certain, with their health conditions. Yeah. So it is more thought as like that, rather than as a full-on yoga instructor's course. It's not that. It's a teacher training program, which is, basically for people who want to involve that into their Ayurvedic practice. There's a 1 month course that you can go for that. There is, of course, you attend you can go into Ayurvedic hospitals. We also have also have training. So there'll be some extra training that you'll get, and also go into hospital and see what all is happening. There are quite a few programs. Again, of course, it is optional. You don't have to do that. That has got nothing to do with completing your advanced diploma or diploma programs. You will be able to finish it without going to India, but that usually everyone loves to get that experience. So that's why we have, we do organize certain trips like that to India. Yeah.
Thanks, Roopa. I think we have come to the time almost. So just to couple of questions, just to give some side about that. Raw herbs, by the way, when you import that, it is usually not covered under TGA. You don't have to get the TGA license to import raw herbs. It is primarily the herbs that you are claiming therapeutic benefits. That sort of things are the ones that need to be approved by the TGA. Now that is the answer to your questions. So once you import the raw herbs, then of course if you prepare it, you can give it to your client at the time of the consultation. That does not require TGA approval. TGA approval required only if you make herbs and if you sell it to the other people, if you claim therapeutic benefits in your label, it is only then it need to be approved by the TGA. So that is a bit of a legal point if you ever want to do that. And the last question was in relation to trip, go to overseas countries. As Roopa correctly says, there's no requirement, but if you want to, last time we organized one with Roopa's hospital for 2 weeks training, and also 2 weeks training in Sri Lanka, which is organized with the Ayurvedic department with the ministry organized with the Department of Ayurvedic Health in Sri Lanka. So it was a well organized trip. Also some holidays we have organized, some trips, sightseeing and all that, but unfortunately with the COVID we could not proceed with that. But we are sure that we should be able to do that in the future again. I think we love to do that too ourselves, just to go and have some fun with our students. You guys are all matured people, so we need to interact socially as well. So I think that's a good opportunity for us to interact and also sightseeing, and perhaps you can claim some of those things from the tax office as well, because if you are working, it is all related to your education. Or I think that's all from me, guys. If you do have any further question, please feel free to send me an email. I'm happy to answer those questions. If I can't answer, I will forward to Roopa, and Roopa, I'm sure she should know everything about it and she should be able to answer. Or any other person that I can get hold of, I certainly will contact for you and make sure that your questions are properly answered. That is my job, and I love doing that. All right. I can give you 30 seconds. Anybody having something really burning desire to say something quickly? Now, 1, 2, 3, gone. Okay, all right. Thank you once again, guys. In WA, those who have not voted yet, don't forget to cast your vote, whoever you choose to vote for. And for the other people, have a lovely weekend. Lovely to see you all. Thank you, Roopa, and thank you everyone for the presentations again. I appreciate your time, and thank you for being here and trusting that you will get some value out of this. I'm sure you got something out of it. Thank you. All right. Bye for now.